What's up, baby?
We made the right choice, right?
I think so.
Midsize trucks for us have always worked out really well because you can purchase a tire and get a lot more money out of it. One of these tires, brand new, is not too much more than a traditional tire. Maybe it is. I mean, it's $400 probably, $500, but they'll go like 80,000 miles in the environment that we have and we use down here. And so I wanted a midsize truck because you can put all of your stuff on them easier. Instead of like a traditional pickup truck, you can like sacrifice like cab, like it's not gonna be the nicest cab, you know, but it's gonna be like a very plain Jane, has a 7.3 turbo diesel in it, manual 5-speed, a lot of ass behind here, just because you want the ability to put your tools, you want your ability to be able to run cheap tires, or let's say cheap per mile tires that don't have like, you can take them to the dump, especially if you're doing tree work or something like that. You want a big bed because like 14-foot bed is nice. You can put your toolboxes on it. Typically it's gonna go more miles for less money. What I made a mistake on was I went with a truck that needed too many little items done, as opposed to finding a truck like this and then bleeding the wealth out of it. We did a custom work here. We're doing some hydraulic. That's a hydraulic reservoir. The reason that we did that is because we put the 35,000 pound, 30,000 pound hydraulic winch on it, which is run off the PTO. Did all LED lighting on it, completed with a license plate. And the engine itself I was super excited about because everyone that saw it said there's not a leak on it, it's beautiful, it's low miles, it's a 7.3, I flushed the oil on it, you know, did all that type of stuff. And it turns out that there was this brownness in the coolant that we couldn't ever quite, I think we flushed it like 3 times and it had like a tint of brown. And we even changed out the reservoir for where the coolant was. And I don't know, that allowed us to see exactly what was going on in the coolant. And long story short, ended up getting a pinhole in the block. We chased everything from head gaskets to oil intercooler to replacing all that stuff has been redone. Alternator, new radiator, new everything coolant. New air filter, new brakes, new calipers, absolutely everything. But when you get a pinhole or a leak in the block, you can chase everything, but at the end of the day, you need to do a new block. And this is why all the older guys had told me, Trav, find a truck that's got a blown engine, because everything else will work. You're not gonna have to mess with like signals for turn signals that haven't worked. Is it a bulb? Is it a fuse? You're not gonna have to do all that type of stuff. It's just gonna be like the truck was on the road and then the truck is not on the road, and that's because the engine blew. Those are the best trucks to buy. In the future, that's what I'll do. I'm happy that we learned how to do systems on this truck. Things more American than a 7.3. We're rocking the Chevy because Duramax, and it's an 06. So this is a 95, this is an 06. I don't really believe in running for what we do. We don't need to run brand new trucks. Like, we don't need to do that. That's it's a waste of money in my opinion. So we bought this one for 30,000 bucks. The cost of doing this one was 25,000. We had it set up a little differently. Some of the things that we did have on this truck are now on the other truck, but with the 06, we've got the larger cab. Obviously, it's a Duramax. It's more serviceable. The parts are more readily available. Pretty much the exact same thing. It's a midsize truck, except it's got a crew cab. The cab is not super awesome. It's kind of paper thin, but it's the same platform. It's a Duramax with an Allison automatic on a 4-wheel drive setup, and it does, like, the best thing I love about this truck is it's got the locking hubs. And in my opinion, like, locking hubs are like totally necessary on a 4-wheel drive truck. Like, just 100% totally necessary. And same way, like flipping up the cab, I mean, obviously this is not new to anybody in a mid-size truck. It's gonna be what it is. But like, genuinely, everything's more accessible. So I feel like with this particular truck, I can do a lot of the work on it. My buddies can do a lot of the work on it. Yesterday I changed the air filter. It was like as easy. I didn't need any tools to do it. Like it was very convenient. It was a massive air filter. I don't know if they used a bigger one on this one or whatever. But the setup on this truck is relatively like simple and plain Jane. And so that's why we went with this one. But my original truck for doing lawn and landscape, particularly landscape supply and bobcat services, was something like this. It was actually a top kick. And it was a 1991 top kick with a cat diesel in it. Thank God we didn't have any problems. We didn't have to buy any parts for it. As long as we ran good fuel through it and kept the filters clean, that thing just ran. And we ran the hell out of that. And we like put good tires on it, and then we just milked that truck out, and eventually the truck got in a wreck, and it wasn't worth anything anyway. And it was so cheap to insure. These larger trucks are cheaper to insure than these smaller trucks. Like we had earlier this year, we had an F-250. Rid of that. We had an F-250 that we used for work, but you know, we didn't really want to beat the crap out of it, so we didn't use it a whole lot. But when we got rid of the F-250, our insurance dropped by $700. Like we replaced the F-250 on the insurance because we were using that as our main truck when this one broke, to this one, which is a larger truck, newer, worth about the same amount of money. Like we sold the 250 for 20 grand. We have this one for 10 additional. So this one's 30,000 bucks. They're not a whole lot different, but the insurance was drastically different. SexMax. All right, so we're at Chattanooga, Chrysler Dodge Jeep, Chattanooga, Tennessee.
You don't Uber in Chattanooga.
You don't want to Uber in Chattanooga. You want to use Lyft because they have higher requirements.
Yes.
For the vehicle. This one was rough. This one was rough. Anyway, we got here. Very nice Jeep. Really like the Jeep life. But we're not here for the Jeep. So we're waiting on our sales dude to get here. And then we're gonna go to a diagnostic center. Gonna go to a diesel mechanic diagnostic center, just run some tests on the D-Max, make sure that it's good. Head gaskets or whatever.
I'm sure we get back to Florida.
Make sure it's good to go mechanically, and then get some paperwork done, and then we'll be on the road down to Atlanta, go see Matt LaMarche. Or we'll be finding a rental car or flying a flight home or something like that. It's terrible. We don't know. We haven't seen this thing before, but it's definitely got the work truck look to it. Always can swap out seats and stuff like that later, but we're looking for a four-wheel drive Duramax 4500, and they are hard to find. So, with lower miles. This one has like 118, which is reasonable. And it's pre-ignitions, so that's good too. So we found a little Mexican spot to get some tacos. Discuss what we learned at the truck center. Did I get video at the truck center? Hope I got some video. I got some. So up here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, at a truck center, we're interested in this one particular vehicle, so we're trying to do our due diligence and get everything read on it, code-wise, and make sure I don't jack this one up. Like the last truck deal, I did not do that well on. So best 128 bucks we ever spent.
Yes.
Gave the truck a 98% though, mechanically, so the dudes there seem to like it, but we know a whole lot more about this truck than what meets the eye in there. So we went to truck center, did our due diligence. Guy spent an hour and a half on it, pressure tested, did a full pressure test of the coolant system, checked all the leaks, gave us a list of like 4 things on the truck that are bad. And they're not like critical, they're just like gonna cost you $1,500 to $2,000. Asked Jim his opinion on if he would buy the truck. He gave the truck a 98. So he said the truck mechanically is good, but we learned one interesting thing, which is it's got a Remand engine in it, which is good that we paid $128 to figure that out. So it's got this little thing on the block. It's like a little piece of lead, and it's a heat. What do they call it? A little heat thing. Can't eat while we're doing video, girl.
I was eating first.
Unbelievable. So this lead thing will melt if the heat tab or something like that. This little lead piece will melt if the engine overheats and void the Remand warranty or whatever when it was put in there. They only put them on Remand blocks. So at some point in this truck's history, even though it has 118,000 miles on it, it's an 06, so it's a 12-year-old truck currently. At some point, it got a new block. Now we're just debating, do we want to mess with this truck? Is it going to turn into another R1 project? We don't want another R1 project. We also don't want a new truck with a payment, but there's less risk with a new truck with a payment. But it's kind of a little bit against our values on the. I don't like financing new vehicles, but I do see that it's less of a pain in the ass on the short term. But then after 60,000 miles, you still got a truck that has no warranty, and you might be apples to apples. We'll figure it out. We're gonna basically just figure out what our number is. If we don't buy the truck, then obviously we're in Chattanooga, Tennessee without a truck and without plane tickets, so we gotta figure that out. So that's a little bit of a factor, but we gotta not have that as a factor getting home.
Take those emotions out.
And we gotta look at it as, is the truck good, or are these just sales guys sleazy freaking D-bags? Which they're sleazy D-bags for sure. So I'm thinking if we can get it like for $5,000 less than what we originally thought we would walk out of here for, I'm probably like, fuck it, let's do it.
It's half an engine if need be.
Yeah, it is half an engine if need be. So basically, like, it's going to be a good deal based on how we negotiate it out. All right, we're back at the Dodge dealer. We're going to go ahead and do some negotiation, see how that rocks out, and if we get it for our number, sweet. If we don't, no big deal.
So, babe,
Yeah.
what happened at 27?
27?
That was my number.
No, you said 28.
Okay, what happened to 28? Because you just threw out 30.
I said 30 out the door, which basically is 28 in taxes.
The instructions he sent were for the wrong account.
So, at this point, we've told them that the truck's got a remanufactured engine in it. They're a little upset about it. They want to hold our deposit. What was it, half our deposit? They want to hold part of our, because we'd put a deposit on the truck to hold it. So, we're like, nope, no big deal. Just give us back our deposit, fly us back, and we'll walk on it. So, the most upsetting thing is that you can't have a guy that can just make a deal. Everyone's got to go talk to a guy. They go back, talk to the Wizard of Oz. They got to come back. They got to go back, talk to another Wizard of Oz. It's a nicer Wizard of Oz. And you're like, bro, 30 out the door, we're like, right. If not, just give us a deposit and roll. Don't tell us that you're going to hold our cash. We just want to roll. And it's like, bros, not the way to do it. Couldn't even imagine doing that to a land clearing customer. I'd be like, off that job site in a minute. 3-0. Came in at 32, came back at 31.2. Then we're like, no, dog, it's 30. He's like, you gonna fly home for that? Like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna fly home for that. It's $1,200 to fly home at $700. I'm still gonna fly. So, held her on, babe. It's good.
Just gotta get to Florida.
Now this bitch gotta ride to Florida, but we trust the 06 D-Max.
How many times have I heard you say you trust 7.3? 7.3 didn't die, baby. Guess what?
95.73 did not work out. What's up, baby?
We made the right choice, right?
I think so. Got it for our number. The negotiation of it was a freaking nightmare. But I think
Don't
it's,
give them away. Let's just say that.
I think it's a pretty. Well, they do when you start. I don't know. The pressure cooker sales was weird.
They don't give them away easily.
It was freaking weird experience. Let's put it like that. In 5K on an 06 Duramax with a 2000 Allison in it. So I feel like it's hard to go wrong with an 06 Duramax LBZ. At least I'm hoping so. My Yoda over here. This is how we're gonna end our trip. Well, not yet. This will be on the YouTube. This is Matt LaMarche.
What's up, y'all?
But LaMarche I met on Periscope a long time ago.
That's
I think
right,
that's how I met him,
gosh.
dude. Yeah. Periscope was a good time.
It was.
It was kind of where I learned how to like just be cool live stream. You know what I mean? You're just like, let's roll, let's do it. And it makes YouTube editing so much easier. But yeah, awesome ideas. It's kind of like my Yoda for digital space. It's kind of like, what do you think about it? And he's
I've
like,
learned
the
a lot."
answer is the question. You're like, fuck, you're right.
I've
So
learned
awesome.
a lot from you as well.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
doubt.
Well, awesome. This is you want to just give us what the heck we're looking at here?
Yeah, this is my 86 911. I bought it about 4 years ago. This is my dream.
911.
This was my dream car growing up.
It's not an 06 D-Mac.
I think I can fit
The
it in
86 though. This is sweet though, man.
the back. If you want to pick up that front, I'll pick up the back and we can put it.
And this
on.
is what got you. This is what got you saving money, right?
This is what inspired me to save money and work like nobody else because I had a goal. I had something in mind. So I put it down on paper and ran after it. And here she is.
Yeah, dude. I like it. I like it a lot.
It's fun.
This done a lot for you.
It's a fun thing, but you know, it's not it's not all it's cracked up to be. It could be gone tomorrow, and
But I do see
life
you in the
would still be
Porsche
good.
clubs all the time, right? I'm like, this guy's in the Porsche club for like, what is it, 30 grand, something like this?
Yeah, now it is.
30?
Yeah.
It's going up in value. He's got stuff that's going up in value. This guy's a smart guy. Owns some rental income, all that other stuff. But like,
That's right.
but it gets you in the club, and you're in the club.
And it gets you networking.
Yeah,
with
it
people,
gets you
and it
networking
gets you
and selling real estate and doing whatever else you're doing
a whole
with it. And it's a
new
fun car,
sphere.
and it's not your daily, but it's like in the garage and you use it. It's got like 170,000 on it.
150.
150. Yeah, this is definitely a sweet ride, and he rides it all the time.
She's a little dirty.
Yeah, dude. Very, very cool, man. Well, we've had an awesome time in Sandy Springs. The D-Mac is running good. Do you like the SexMax?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah. It's got a few mechanical things, but we were able to negotiate it down, so we'll see like later how it does. But it's an eye catcher, if nothing else, right? With a logo on it, it'll look decent.
That's for sure.
So,
But we do need to get your Instagram on there.
oh, dude, that's true.
Because
That's true.
when I'm at a car
On the
show,
marsh. There it is.
they know where to
You
go.
put the at.
I did, but I had the Snapchat thing here, and then I had the Instagram thing here, so it was pretty.
Is it Snap or Instagram? Where's that?
It was both, but
Yeah, it's
more
Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah,
For me, at
Zuckerberg
least.
takes it over. It was freaking Zucks. So, very cool car though, dude. I've wanted to see this for a while.
Yeah, man.
Really, really cool. All right, man. We're gonna head up. Keep on going down to Florida because it's cold as balls in Georgia. All right, man. Great seeing you, bro.
Yeah, man. You too.
See ya. It's nothing like a little long ride home. Figure out your bugs. We'll have a nice new belt done, new hydro pulleys, which is good. Starting to figure out maybe it's not all metric. Might be some standard in here. The YouTube video I saw said it was metric, which is what we bought because I don't have any tools. It's all good. 15 millimeter. Crank this guy on there, put this belt on here, fire up, should ride, baby. So to fast forward to today, had the truck for about 6 months or so. Very, very little issues. We actually put some new front tires on it, moved the old ones back. We had some bad back ones and we knew that. We negotiated that down in the price, and so moved it, put some new front tires on it. I love the four-wheel drive on this truck. It's got the locking hubs. I have yet to be stuck with it. Want to knock on some wood, but it's been amazing. I haven't had really many issues. I did lose fuel pressure at one point in time, and it was the cause of like some bad O-rings in where the fuel filter housing was. And it's pretty typical for the LBZ Duramax, just Duramax in general. At this age, I think now I've got 126,000 on it or so. 124 and a half. So, clean truck, super happy with it. I don't love the air ride seats. I think that these seats were changed out at some point in time. Got all the boxes put up on it, put the fuel transfer tank on it. I primarily haul goosenecks. That's pretty much what I do for work with all the machines and whatnot in it. So, it's worked out really, really well. Super happy with it. I don't know, to have a dump truck would be pretty sweet, but for the most part, everything's great with it. I've actually shopped around and, you know, seen if I can get like a 3,500 or 2,500 Duramax, and I can't find anything in this price range. We bought this thing for 30,000 bucks out the door. Taxes, tag, title, the whole thing. They bought 6 months of registration for it. So I can't really complain. It's been an awesome truck. I think it's only halfway through its lifespan. People on the gram have told me that I have the same truck. They're like, dude, I love that thing, never sell it. So super happy with it. I think that we made a really good decision by buying it, and that's the SexMax. Love it. Peace.